this is Amanda Shepherd with another play along practice. So this one is specific. It's going to be some hip related exercise, more of an all levels than a 2-3, and a lot of it's going to be supine because it's more for so laying down, so it's more for hip health. A little bit of a bonus practice. I have quite a few props today. I'm going to have a blanket. We're going to start with a blanket. I have a regular yoga strap. You can use a kitchen towel or a bigger towel if you need that. A couple blocks. If you don't have blocks, then you're going to want 2 books, relatively large, about the same size, or a few books stacked up. And I have some yoga tune-up balls, some therapy balls. So they come in a tote. There's the small ones, and these are the original size, and then I also have an alpha. All right, so these are rubbery, grippy. You can use a tennis ball, or a handball would be even better because it's about the right size and it's rubber. These are a little bit better though because they have they're a little softer and they have a little bit more grip to them, and they're slightly smaller than a tennis ball. But you know, use what you got. If you don't have a tote, you can use a sock, right? You just want it to get in nice and taut if their balls are in the tote. Okay, and we're gonna get started on a little bit of hip health. So I'm gonna start in a supine pose, and I'm gonna do the same pose I did last time, which was Supta Baddha Konasana, but we're gonna use the blanket. Now, if you don't have a blanket, you can just use 2 blocks instead. All right. If you do have a blanket though, you're gonna take your blanket from full size, and you're gonna bring the fringes together, fringe to fringe. So it's gonna fold into a larger rectangle, and then you're gonna take fringe to fringe again, right? So bottom fringe to top fringe, and you're gonna make this kind of triangle, and then we're gonna roll it into like a taco or a cannoli or a sushi, right? And you're just gonna roll it up. So it looks like that, like a long roll. And then Supta Baddha Konasana. So to find that, I'm gonna take the blanket about midway, bring it around my ankles, and bring the fringy and the folded side together, and then open it out. And it's gonna be able to support my legs, all right? And I'm gonna take that to laying down. Supta Baddha Konasana. Now, if you don't have that, then you can use blocks instead and just have them underneath your legs on the outside, okay? And take a nice deep inhale, exhale through the mouth. You want to make sure your sacrum is on the floor. Outside edges of your feet are on the floor. And the thoracic spine, right? To the back of the ribs, shoulder blades. Have your hands, or you can have your hands on your belly, whatever feels good. Soften the shoulders and take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale through the mouth. One more time. And let the breath become easy. So there shouldn't be any pulling here, right? Should be nice and very supported. Allowing the shoulders to descend, letting the breath get nice and smooth. And once you allow the breath to get nice and smooth and even out, noticing how much how much air you take in, let going the same amount of air, so you're breathing the same capacity. Notice that little space in between your inhale and exhale, and let those spaces be even though they're very different feeling. And once you start to find that evenness, you can tap into that inner equanimity and really notice the sensations of the body and mind. And allow yourself to explore what comes up, right? Especially physical sensations. If there's anything sharp or shooting, you're going to stop and adjust so that doesn't continue. Notice a difference in the sides. Each hip is going to be a little bit different. And take one more breath here. As you exhale, you're going to bring your knees into your chest and just take your blanket and put it to the side. We'll use it again later. Take your hands underneath your knees. Let your calves flop over your fingers, right? And you're just going to row your boat. Knees into the chest, out to the side and around. Just getting some fluid into that hip flexor. And go the other way. Shins away, knees out. Exhale into the chest and forward. Inhale, out and around. Exhale into the chest and forward. Make sure you do an even amount. And then I'm going to have you keep the right knee into your chest. You're going to reach your left leg nice and long on the mat. If that's not available to you, take the foot to the floor. And you're going to find your strap. And to start, you're going to place the strap around the ball of the foot and reach that heel to sky. One side of the strap in either hand. Nice and easy with your fingers, right? There's no reason to like grip too hard on your hands. Let them be simple. And then take both sides of the strap into your left hand, and you're going to bring your right hand to your left hip point. And I want you to draw a line across to the right hip point. If they're uneven, right? If the right hip is hiked up, you're going to scoop your thumb in that hip crease and draw that sits bones towards the top of the mat. So you want those two hip points in the front to be even, unless there's some anomaly in your spine where they're not, right? If you have like a scoliosis or something like that and your hips are a little bit uneven, you're going to, well, actually you are still going to want that straight line. You're going to want to try to manage that, right? Okay, and then reach the heel towards the sky. You're going to feel that through your calf and down through the leg. And as you exhale, push the strap into the ball of the foot and do that a couple times. Just stretching your calf nice and easy. And then you're going to shimmy the strap to your heel. All right? One side of the strap in either hand. And I just want you to feel the hip bone able to move into the socket in a more integrated way. It can be a little bit subtle. All right, so if you're very flexible and the toes naturally go towards your shoulder, towards your forehead, you're not going to do that. You're just going to let the leg be straight like a letter L, right? La 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 la, right? If your heel doesn't go that far, then that's fine. That's where you're at. No reason to force it. Okay? One side of the strap in either hand. Very simplest stretch of the hamstring possible. Right? You want to keep that straight line across the hip points. And then you're going to take both sides of the strap into your left hand. And I want you to take your right thumb into that hip crease. Bring it here, and very gentle, you're just going to bring that heel over the belly button. And this is to stretch where the thigh and butt meet on that right side. It's a little bit of a subtle movement. It can take a little bit to find it. You want to feel the stretch down the IT band, which goes down the outer leg. And if you're lifting your right bum, you're too far. So you want to keep that on the floor. Now, if you're pretty open, it can be hard to find. I'm going to take a nice deep inhale here. Then I'm going to reach my right arm out to the side and let the heel come all the way across. You can bend the knee here if you want, right? If that's more comfortable for you, do it that way. Right? Keep your right arm reaching out to the side. Look over your right fingertips. Right side waist super long, so that sits bones is reaching towards the top of the mat, just like you had your thumb in the hip crease. Nice deep inhale here. As you exhale, you're going to come back through center. Strap goes in the right hand, turn your toes out, left arm out to the side. You want to keep the left side body down and reach that right heel out to the side. Now it's not about bringing your foot to the floor. Maybe the heel is higher than your toes. You feel like you're out as much as you can. You're going to draw your toes towards your shoulder. Now, if you keep rolling on and your bum is lifting on that left side and you're like this, you're going to lift the heel higher and you can take a block and place it outside your hip to kind of keep it steady, right? You want your spine nice and even on the floor. That's going to keep your sacroiliac joint in the same line. Nice deep inhale here as you exhale back through center. You're going to take the strap off the foot. And then you're going to bend your right knee, bend the left knee, and place the ankle on top of that left knee so your legs are like a number 4. Breathing here. You can take your hands to your hamstrings. You can use a strap if that's too far. Use your towel, right, to let your arms be longer. You can bend your left knee in and bring your hands to your shin. Or you can use no hands and just reach the inner right knee away from you. Okay. So from this angle, hopefully you can see. So it's like a number 4, right? Right foot's flexed. I'm going to do circles with my left ankle. Let that relax, breathing here. And I want to make sure that I'm not falling over to the right side, right? I want to keep my low back even on the floor as I reach the inner knee away. So if I'm falling off, then I'm just going to bring my weight back to center. Breathing here. Okay, and then from here, I'm going to bring the left foot down, all right? And I'm going to lift my right leg off. I'm going to keep that number 4, but turn that leg to the sky and grab the outside edge of my foot. Now, if I can't reach that, I'm going to grab my shin and reach the left leg nice and long, breathing here. This is Ardha Ananda Balasana, half happy baby. Scoop that left hip, scoop that right hip under, keeping the spine nice and long. Again, if that left side's lifting up, grab the leg higher so you can center the spine, right? All right, one more breath here. As I exhale, I'm going to bring the left knee behind the right and try to separate my feet, grabbing under the calf. The shins are parallel. The hips are a little more open. If they're not, if they're a little tighter, you can bring the heels in closer to the body. Right? But I do want to try and keep those hip points nice and even. Trying to bring the knees towards my chin as I keep my spine long on the mat. So I'm not rounding the low back. I want to keep that even. Then I'm going to come back out and just let it rest any way comfortable. Maybe find a Shavasana. A nice deep inhale here. As I exhale, I'm going to take my hands underneath the knees and do a couple rowboats one more time. Maybe do some low back circles with my hands on top of the shin. You can notice a difference in your hips. The right one's probably feeling a little bit more open, and you're just going to reach the right leg long on the mat. Keep the left knee into the chest. Take your strap around the ball of the left foot, reaching that leg towards the sky. One side in each hand. I'm going to take my thumb and place it in the hip crease and draw that hip crease down. So I'm reaching the sits bones towards the top of the mat. Right? Breathing here. And then I'm going to reach. I'm just going to gently allow the arms to get a little heavier to reach the heel away, and then push the ball of the foot into the strap, and do that a couple times to stretch the calf. You'll feel it up through the back of the knee. I'm going to glide down, shimmy down so that the strap is on the heel. Take my thumb into the hip crease and draw the hip crease down. Spreading the collarbones. And both sides of the strap into my right hand. I'm going to reach the left arm out to the side, and I just want to play with the leg. Now, if the toes are closer to my forehead, I want a straight letter L, right? Right angles. And then I'm just going to bring that heel across the midline of the body. I want to keep this sideways nice and long so you're not crunching the left side. This is a very subtle movement, and I want to feel it all here, down the IT band, right? That left butt cheek is lifting off the floor. You're going too far. Just negotiating, using the strap in the right hand to help negotiate. Then I'm going to come back through center. Oh no, I'm going to take my twist a little further, and you can bend the knee. Take your hand to the outside of the knee if you want. You can support your foot with a block. I'm going to keep nice and long on that left side waist and just square my ribs to the sky. Finding a nice twist. This is a great stretch for the entire piriformis area, right? Breathing here. Come back through center. Grab the strap in the left hand, turn the toes out now. I know I have a tendency to kind of flop out very far. I'm going to use the block to stop me. I'll show you what that is. So I'm going to turn the toes out and reach that leg out to the side. Breathing here. You can have your elbow on the floor to help negotiate. But if I'm rolling over and I'm lifting the right side, you can see how the hamstring's lifting off the floor, right? And I'm going too far. I'm going to take the block and place it right at that hip. And it's just going to stop me, so I'm not going to go too far, right? And you can bring the toes towards the shoulder. And you'll feel this maybe on that inner thigh, in the groin. If it's too much, lift the heel higher and it will be less, right? You can even bring the block to a higher point, someplace that it will be supported, right? Breathing here. Then I'm going to come on up. I'm going to make a number 4 and draw that right knee in. And just finding that number 4 stretch. And you Again, you can grab your hamstrings, your shin. You cannot grab anything. You can just use your left hand to reach the inner knee away. The one thing I don't want to do is roll off this way, right? So if I feel like the leg is heavy and I'm rolling off to the side, I want to try and square my low back. Right. Then you can bring the right knee in and keep reaching the inner left knee away and keep your sacrum even on the earth. Do all of those things. Left foot is flexed. You can do circles with your right ankle. Maybe get some pops in there. Woo. Right? This is for right here. And then I'm going to grab the outside edge of that foot and just imagine I'm stamping the foot into the sun. You can bring your right foot to the floor, reach it long. Ardha Ananda Balasana. Spread the collarbones. And you want to keep your spine long on the mat. If you're rounding the low back to find it, right, you're kind of doing something like this. Grab higher on the leg, or even the back of the knee, right? Let the breath stay nice and easy. If the breath is labored, that's the body telling you something. It's either too much reach or too strenuous, or there's something about what it is that you're doing. You don't want this work to be labored. You want it to be stress-free, to be easeful. And then snuggle the right knee behind the left. You're going to separate your feet. Notice what happened to your hips, right? Is that left hip out to the side. Bring that sits bones towards the top of the mat. Nice deep inhale here as you exhale. Knees in towards your chest. Letting your shins go parallel. And you're looking to feel this. Here, it's a great stretch for the piriformis, all the way down into the kind of the top of the IT band. Sometimes people will feel the flexion, right? As long as it's not painful, it's okay. Gently going to unwind. You can take your hands underneath the knees. Take your hands to the top of the shins and just do a couple of circles. One or two each direction. And then you can take Baddha Konasana, Supta Baddha Konasana again. Soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. And have you bring your elbows to the floor and gently lengthen your tailbone. And then relax it. And just so you can get some strength in your core. You're going to take your thumbs to your low ribs and your index finger, or your pinky finger to your hip points, and let the other three fingers kind of surround your belly button and gently find that bracing. Soften the shoulders. Nice deep inhale here as you exhale, belly button into the spine, and reach your hands forward like you're holding a beach ball. You're just going to lift the shoulder blades off the floor and lift for 5, 4, belly button in, 3, 2, 1. And while you're not really pushing the feet together, you might feel like you're strengthening a little bit on those inner thighs and those hip flexors as you're lifting up here. Bring the knees together. You're going to take your hands to the back of the knees. Keep scooping the belly in, feet on the floor. Soften the shoulders. And then roll up, bringing your sternum to the sky. Now, if that's too much, you can roll back down. Or maybe you didn't get that far. You can bring your heels to the floor. You're going to imagine you have a beach ball in your hands, and you're going to bring your beach ball to the sun. sternum to sky to lift up, and that'll work. Then take your hands behind you. You're gonna bring your feet to the floor. Fingers facing your hip points or out to the side. As far back as it's comfortable, it doesn't need to be that far. And you're gonna straighten your arms. Keep your feet down. Nice long spine. Little bit posterior tilt. Tailbone's reaching towards your heels. The rest of the spine is extending. Right? This is a variation of Navasana. It might be enough for you today. If you want, you can lift the left leg and bring it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and take it to the other side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring it down. And then if you like, you can take your hands to the back of the knees, sitting up nice and tall. Maybe come onto your heels, maybe bring the toes to the floor. You can maybe bring your knees together if that's interesting. Whatever's more comfortable for your hips, so you can keep your knees right straight out, hip distance, right? Sitting up nice and tall. Starting with the right knee. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Starting with the left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe flex the feet, keep the feet off the floor. Maybe check out your toes, and maybe even roll your inner thighs towards the front of the mat. So in, firm your outer hips, Navasana, boat pose. Feet are flexed, strengthening your hip flexors. Nice deep inhale here. Good, as you exhale, you're gonna close the left knee joint and reach the right leg nice and long on the mat. We're gonna open that leg out to the side and just let your left hand reach forward, belly button over the knee, fingertips around that right foot. And I want you to get the idea of that leg bone drawing into the socket. And you're gonna come on down. Janu Shirshasana, keeping the spine long, right? So we're not rounding the back, right? We're not hip hanging. You want a nice extended spine. Any amount. You can use a strap here so you can stay lifted, right? Then with your inhale, you're going to reach the hands forward and up. Come on back up. Now you close the knee joint. On that left side, you're going to keep your heel in close to your sits bones and open that leg out to the side, kicking your butt with your left heel as much as possible. Belly button over the knee on that right leg. Come on down again. And that might be enough for you. Maybe you're going to come up. Maybe you're going to reach your right arm through and grab your left hip, right? And maybe you're going to roll your right ribs into the sun. Bring your elbow down. Looking up. And then from here, reach that left arm to sky. You're going to come on back up. Bend your front knee. So you're going to roll onto the outside of that hip and bend the front knee. And then let your left toes reach away. So your legs are like a number 4. And we're going to strengthen that outer left hip. And this might be a lot, right? So you can skip this one maybe. Might just be the idea. So you're going to use your glutes. You can have your hands framing that front foot on the floor or on blocks if you need to lift them a little bit higher, right? So you can have block on either side. And you're going to lift for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you need more, you're going to straighten the leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then bring that leg around, maybe stacking the shins for fire log pose. If that's too much, you're going to bring the left shin in front of the right. Nice deep inhale here. As you exhale, walk it out. And again, you want the spine nice and long. You're flexing, letting the leg bones draw into the socket and flexing right at those hip flexors, right at those hip points. Want to add a shoulder stretch, you can bring the left arm underneath the right. But keep that left sits bones moving towards the back of the mat. So, energetically, right, and my body wants to make it easy, right? So it wants to let that left sits bones go out to the side. I'm going to try and draw the sits bones back as I lengthen forward. All right. Unwind the arms, walk yourself back in. I'm going to take your hands to the outside of the legs and bring the feet back to the floor. Breathing here. Now you can do the same kind of hip flexor strengthening that we just did, or if you like this time, you can make genie arms. I'm going to have the right arm underneath the left, sitting up tall. I'm going to come to my tippy toes. I'm going to wiggle around and find my sits bones so I feel like I'm even on the sits bones, right? And then both legs together. I'm going to go for 5, 4, 3. Just bring your knees to your forearms. 2, 1, and switch it up. I'm going to go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing here, you're going to keep the right knee in and reach the left leg long. And open up for Janu Shirshasana. Belly button over the knee. You can use your arm as that gauge and just walk it out. Just notice that you keeping your Janu Shirshasana. I just noticed that my light is not on. Oh, second time in a row I've done this. There we go. Breathing. Hopefully you've been able to see me. I'm sorry about that. Breathing here. Again, you can use a strap. You can have your fingertips on blocks to make your arms longer, right? So you're up taller. Breathing here. All right, crown of the head forward and up. You're gonna unwind. And keep close the knee joint. You're gonna keep the heel in towards the sits bones and open that leg out to the side. Belly button over the knee. Notice there's a lift in the inner thigh. I'm gonna allow that, right? I don't wanna force that down because that will be uncomfortable on my SI joint, and over time it will tweak it. So I don't wanna do that. Belly button over the knee. I'm gonna walk it forward. Then crown of the head forward and up. You can stay here if you like. You can take your left arm, thread it underneath the right, and grab your right thigh or hip, and just let your left ribs roll into the sun, right? Finding a twist. Maybe elbow comes down. Maybe reaching up and over. Trying to reach my, I'm extending the spine, so I'm trying to reach my sternum over the toes. And right arm to sky, I'm gonna come back out. Fingertips come down, framing the foot, and I'm just going to bend the left knee to a right angle. And then I'm just gonna turn to the side so you can see. I'm gonna flex the right foot and let those toes come away from the body at a right angle. There's a little bit of space underneath the perineal floor. I'm gonna try and grip there. I'm gonna try and draw that in and up. So I have like a center line, like zipping up the strength of the body, right? You can have your hands on the floor or blocks or not at all. And I'm gonna lift the right leg, and 5, 4, strengthening, 3, 2, 1. You might even feel strength here. And then if you need more, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I'm gonna find either fire log, double pigeon, or bring the shin forward for Sukhasana. Now if that's enough, you can stay there. If you like, you can bring the right arm underneath the left, but just hinge forward. Maybe your fingertips are on the floor if that's more interesting. Trying to even out your hip points, especially if you have like an anomaly in your spine and they're not even. You want to do that little extra work to try and even it out. Keep your feet flexed, both feet. And try not to round the upper back. All right, unwind, you're gonna walk it in. Bring my hands behind me, bring the feet to the floor. Maybe bring your hands a little further back this time. Keeping your tailbone long, breathing here. Now you're welcome to stay here. If you like, you can push into your feet. I have my feet just beyond hip distance. I wanna be able to be in a space where I can keep my feet nice and even on the floor and have the weight even in the ball of the foot and the heel, so I'm not rolling out or in. So adjust your feet to accommodate that, right? And then knees and toes in the same line. I'm gonna lift up, Ardha Purvottanasana. Oh no, oh yeah, breathing here. And then I'm gonna bring it back down. I'm gonna cross one ankle over the other or scoot your legs around and come to all fours. And you can have your wrists under the shoulders, either on your knuckles or on palms. If you're comfortable on your knees, you can stay here. You can roll your mat in, or you can place your blanket underneath your knees, whatever you need. And just allow yourself to maybe find a couple cat-cows. And then come through center. I'm gonna turn around this way so you can see. I'm gonna reach that right leg out to the right and just do some hip circles here. Try to keep the weight even in your hands. It's likely you're gonna draw towards that left arm, or let the right hand will actually take more of the weight, right? Do as many of those as you can, and then bring the knee down, right? And then we're gonna take it to the other side, same thing. Reach that left leg out to the side, doing some hip circles. Go the other way. And then bring that foot down. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come onto my blocks with my hands, just to give myself a little bit of space, right? So my arms are gonna be higher. And then from here, maybe reach the right leg back. Get some fluid. Bring the knee down. You're going to do the same with the left. Get some fluid. And then from here, I'm going to bring the right knee to the chest and step it right between my hands. All right, I'm going to move the block so you can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to take my left foot and reach it towards the right side of the mat. So the knee is right underneath the hip and the ankle's out from the knee, but it's reaching at a right angle towards the right side of your mat. And then on this, knee is right over the ankle or less, and I'm gonna reach the left arm forward, up and around. Okay? Torso is same direction as the right inner thigh. So just to show you from a different perspective, right? Got the left hip coming straight down, left foot reaching back, and then the right knee is reaching out to the side, all right? Externally rotate. Okay, and then from here, I'm gonna take my left hand to my hip like a teapot, and I'm gonna take my right wrist to the inner knee, and I'm gonna push them together. You should feel some strength happening right here, because you want all parts of your body to be strong as well as supple, right? And those of us who are bendier, not me, but like, you know, ballet dancers, things like that, people who are bendier, it's really important to get that integration and using that muscle strength, right? Look over the left shoulder. Bring the right ribs towards the left. Tailbone long. And this is active, right? So the arm is active. This is actively pushing towards each other. It's not lazy. You want the arm working, and you're really pushing the inner knee and wrist towards each other. And then you can let that go. Let's turn the toes forward. And you can just let that inner thigh rest a little bit. And you can even bring your hands to the floor. Hands are going to be off the mat. You'll be okay. I'm going to take a nice deep inhale here. As you exhale, push into your hands. You can use blocks if you want. You're going to lift the leg. Maybe pulse it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the legs straight back. All right. Breathing here. Keep the belly button into the spine. You're going to bend the knee. You're going to bounce a ball on your heel. Right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Bring that back down. Big toes to touch, knees a little bit wider. Balasana, child's pose. And forearms to the floor. Bring your knees towards each other. Come back to your all fours. Place your hands on your blocks. You're going to reach the left heel back. Bring that knee down and reach the right leg back. Just getting some fluid in the calf. Bring that leg down. Now push into your blocks. Protract your shoulders so you're going to feel them round, like kind of like a cat. To make space, just step that left foot up between the hands. And then you're going to turn your right foot towards the left side of your mat. And you're going to reach your right arm forward, up and around, finding your Virabhadrasana 2 body. Take your hands to your hips, breathing nice and easy. And then you're going to take the left wrist right inside the left knee. Push them together as you wrap that left hip down and forward. Look over the right shoulder and find that little bit of a twist, letting your belly button move towards the right knee. Couple breaths. As you exhale, you're going to come on out, and we're going to turn the heel away so you have a bridge, or a Parigasana gate leg, and just bring your hands to the floor. You can use your blocks or your hands if you want, right? So you're a little higher. Whatever feels good for you. Or you can come on your knuckles. And then you're just going to lift the leg. If you want to pulse it, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you can. And you're going to reach that left leg straight back. Right. Bend your left knee. Keep the belly in. Bounce a ball on that heel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As you exhale, big toes to touch. Draw back child's pose. And you can come onto your elbows and shake your wrists out if your wrists need it. Do some wrist circles. Come on down. Now, if your knees are like, I don't like this at all, you can use your strap. And you can take your strap and place it behind the back of your knees. And that will give you a little bit of a spacer. Or, that's not enough, you can use your taco blanket or your cannoli or your nori roll and do the same thing, right? And that will give your knees a little bit of space. You don't need to have your sits bones at your heels, right? You don't need to be particularly low. You can stay on your forearms. I'm gonna take a nice deep inhale here, and as you exhale, come on out of that. Let's see, what's the next one we should do? Now, this one's a little bit more advanced. It's to stretch the inner thigh. And you're going to want to have a blanket or something underneath your knees. And you're just going to take like a prone plie, right? So you're going to reach your knees out nice and wide. Come onto your forearms. You can let your feet flex if that's available to them, out to the sides like frog legs, right? Inner knees are on the floor. I want you to scoop your belly in, lifting up, and bring your sits bones behind you. Right, so you're not letting your chest drop. That's not really going to find the pose. This is a PNF. It's like an active stretch. So the leg bones are drawing into the socket. You're engaging the core. You're engaging those inner thighs a little bit, and then reach your sits bones back. And you should feel your inner thighs light up. So the sits bones are reaching between the feet. Belly's lifting. Not lazy in the torso. Core is engaged, nice flat back. All right, nice deep inhale here. You're gonna bring your big toes to touch and walk your feet back in. Bring your inner thighs towards each other. And then you're gonna come back and make your way prone. One more time. Let's see. Oh my God, 47 minutes already. All right. So you can take your hands to the back of your knees. We're going to roll it out, and you're going to take one ball out of your toe. Come on down. I'm going to turn this way so that you can see. So I'm going to get in a little bit like that. All right. So I'm going to make a number 4, right ankle over the left knee. You've been here before. I'm going to draw the left knee into the chest. And I'm just going to roll a little bit onto that left side, and I'm going to take the ball and place it like right next to where there might be a dimple. Boom, right there. And then I'm going to bring the left foot back down and kind of come onto that ball. So I'm going to lift up a little bit using my elbows like crab crawlers, like crab legs. And I'm just going to let it compress. Nice deep inhale, exhale. One more time, nice deep inhale, exhale. And then I'm going to start to roll. Doing little circles, using my body to move around. And then I'm going to keep the knee bent, but reach the leg out to the side. I might reach the left leg nice and long on the mat, and I'm going to bring the right knee in towards my shoulder and reach that right leg away, turning the toes in. Right knee towards your shoulder. So this is called a pin, spin, and stretch. And bring that left foot back to the floor. And just just going to roll around a little bit, and then I'm going to find like a thigh master, right? So I'm going to bring my right knee towards the left. And that's going to roll me right across that piriformis. So you're moving with that muscle. And maybe with the knee out, I'm going to chug up and down as I go across to get a cross fiber. And then as the ball, I might just crab crawl with my elbows, bring the knees towards the sky, and just start to trace the inner seam of my glutes on the top. And then going back and forth. I'm going to use my feet, and I'm just going to reach that right leg nice and long, and I'm going to roll over the outer seam of that hip above the trochanter, the outer seam of the glute, and back in. So I'm going to kind of start to roll the TFL a little bit. And I'm just going to use my feet to help sort of negotiate and make some circles. And then I'm going to come back through center. Right where there might be a dimple, right on that spot. And I'm going to contract. So squeeze the glutes and relax. And you can bring your left leg long if that's interesting. Contract and relax. And then right foot to the floor. I'm going to roll in right towards the inner seam. So I'm kind of bucking up near the tailbone, and I'm just going to trace that inner seam. And I'm going to crab crawl and come right above the sits bones. I'm just going to needle in there a little bit, doing some circles. Then I'm going to plow. So nice deep inhale as I exhale. I'm going to let the breath go out, and I'm going to bring my hips to the right so I roll on the inside of that sits bones. Come back to start. Exhale. I'm going to come to the top of the sits bones and plow towards the other side. So you can bring your left foot to the floor, and then bring those hips to the left to come on right on the left side of the right sits bones, right? The outside of it. Good. And then from here, you can either find your beach ball, or you're going to have your elbows on the floor. I think the beach ball is a little bit more efficient. Lift that sternum to sky, come on up, and you're going to bring your feet to the floor. You're going to use your hands to mitigate, and just make little circles right around that sits bones. And then you're going to roll to the outer hip. And you can make little circles around the trochanter, which is a bone on the outside of the thigh. Lots of attachments there. So I'm bending the right knee, making circles to go around. And next time I'm underneath it, I'm going to find the other ball. And I'm going to line it up vertically. So I'm on the IT band. I'm going to bring my hands to the floor. And just bring the hips forward and back. It's a cross fiber of the IT band. You're going to draw your hips behind you. Use your hands to negotiate the pressure to go towards your knee. You go towards the trochanter. You're going to reach the heel away. Good. And then, if you like, you can come down to your forearm. Now you can keep both balls in or one ball in. I'm going to step the left foot over the right. And if I have spots where I want to get really needly, I'm going to bend the right knee, and just roll a little bit, and then extend and bend the leg. And you can get very specific. You can bring your right hand to the floor, right? breathing here, doing circles, and you can really fine tune this. All right. We're not going to do too much because this isn't going to be like the most intense thing, and I'm also pretty much out of time. All right, so you're going to notice some fluid in that IT band on the right side. If this is work that's more interesting for you, you're always welcome to join my live stream from a studio that I work with on Saturday mornings. You can email me for that. But we do some fun work in there. Okay. And then from here, I'm gonna take a nice deep inhale here, and as I exhale, I'm gonna make a number 4, left ankle over the right knee and drawing that right knee into the chest. I'm gonna use the other ball, and I'm gonna roll onto the right side a little bit. Just find that spot, like right next to where there might be a dimple. Bring it down, use my elbows to help negotiate. So I'm lifted, reaching the inner right knee away. And I'm just gonna start to do some circles. Or just move a little bit. And then you can let it compress in. Maybe you wanna let it compress in first. And just breathe. That's not the right spot, you can move it, you can manually move it with your hands. Then I'm going to bring the left knee towards the shoulder. You can reach the right leg long if you like, and reach that left leg long, turn the toes in, and do that a few times. So pin, spin, and stretch. Let that knee reach out to the side, rebend the right knee foot to the floor, and I'm going to find my thigh master, right? Bringing the left knee towards the right, and I'm going to let it roll. So the hips go to the right as I bring the knee in. So it's a little bit exaggerated thigh master. It's not just about the thigh. And right across, stripping that piriformis muscle. Sometimes our sciatic pain is directly related to the relationship between the piriformis and the sciatic nerve. And then I'm gonna allow myself to kind of chug up and down as I go in and out. Right? Crab crawl with my elbows as much as necessary. Maybe I'm gonna go above and just allow myself to trace where the glutes fit inside the bone. Going back down, finding that spot where there might be a dimple, and I'm going to contract and relax. And you can reach both legs long if you like. Contract and relax. Contract and relax. And come on back. You can trace that outer seam if you like. I'm going to bring my feet to the floor. I might manually adjust if I need to. I'm going to come to the inner seam, right next to the tailbone. Then I'm going to come right above the sits bones. You can reach the legs long if you like, or keep the knees bent, whatever's more comfortable for you, but just allow yourself to move a little bit. Take a nice deep inhale here, and as I exhale, I'm going to go to the outside of that sits bone. So I'm going to plow. Nice deep inhale, exhale, bring the hips to the right to go to the outside of that sits bones. Back through center. Crab crawl in if you need to with your elbows. Nice deep inhale here. As I exhale, I'm going to bring the hips to the left and kind of down, right? Go to the inside. Of that sits bones, and then I'm going to come back. I'm gonna reach the legs nice and long. I'm gonna back up so my feet aren't underneath the couch. I'm gonna find my beach ball and bring the sternum to sky. Coming on up. I'm gonna take my hands behind me and I'm just gonna kind of roll over, going right outside the hip, right above the trochanter, so you're on the TFL. And you can do circles here if you like. And then I'm gonna walk my hands back and just do some circles around the trochanter. I don't really want to go right on top of it because it can be a little bit gnarly. All right. And once I'm below, I'm going to take the other ball and place it there. You can have the right foot behind you or come onto your forearm. I'm just going to go back and forth, hips behind me and forward to go down towards the knee. I'm going to bring the hips towards my elbow. Right, and to go up towards the trochanter, I'm going to reach the feet away. And then if you have spots, you can bring the right foot forward. Wherever you need to, you can bend the left knee and just roll that way. Or if you have something really gnarly, you can extend and bend the leg. And you can get very, very targeted here. I mean, it's pretty shocking how targeted you can get. So you want to go nice and easy. Right, you can take one ball out if you want to be even more targeted, right? If you have someplace really, really gnarly, you can do that. It's pretty intense. It can be very effective. Those are just a couple things you can do with those. I wish I'd left more time. I'm going to take this out. Bring the balls back in. And then before I go to the sort of last thing, I'm going to come to all fours. I just want you to find that cat and keep the belly scooping in a lot. And allow yourself to just kind of stretch. Bring the sits bones towards the heels, maybe the head the other way. Just to stretch into that SI joint. Alright, bring your feet forward. Take your hands to the back of the knees. You're going to take a nice deep inhale here, and as you exhale, roll down one vertebra at a time. You're going to grab a block, walk your feet in. You're going to lift your heels and lengthen your tailbone and place the block right underneath your sacrum. So you're in a supported bridge. Keep the chin lifted, breathing nice and easy. Make sure you're in a comfortable spot. Most people, you can be on low for this, right? And then let your right leg reach away. If you need to move on the block, go ahead and do that. So your tailbone, so your hip flexor is nice and long. Toes can face out. Don't force them to the sky. Bring the right foot in, reach the left leg long. Adjust on your block if you need to. Letting that hip flexor stretch. Bring the left foot in, see how you're feeling. Scoop the belly in like an ice cream scoop, belly button to your spine. Just as you need to, and then maybe reach both legs away, opening those hip flexors. And bring the feet back in, lift the heels. You're gonna lengthen the tailbone, take the block out. As you exhale, roll it out one vertebra at a time. Draw those knees into the chest. Do a couple low back circles, one or two each direction. And last time, right ankle over the left knee. Number 4, you're gonna bring your left heel down, bring the hips to the right, knees to the left. And reach that right arm out to the side. Now, if this is too intense with the number 4, take your right foot and place it on the top of your left thigh. And that's much, much more accessible. If you need more, curtsy cross, maybe separate the feet with your hands. Back through center. Left ankle over the right knee. You're going to bring your hips to the left, knees to the right. Reach out with your left arm. Maybe bring the left foot to the right inner thigh to make it a little bit friendlier, right? Back through center. Drawing the knees in. And then for your final relaxation, you're going to make a Stonehenge. So set your blocks up so that they're going across the mat. And then you're going to take your taco or your nori and place it on top. And let your feet flop over. And you just want the back of your knees supported. Now, if it's a 45-degree angle or more, it's kind of too far, so you want it to be less than that. Breathing here. Sometimes people like a Stonehenge instead, right? It's the same thing. Or if you like, you can just take your legs and flop them over a chair. Right? Let the breath go. Let the practice go and notice any sensations. You want your tailbone to be comfortable. Breathing nice and easy. If you can stay in Shavasana, please do. I can't today. I went way over more than I was expected to time-wise. Nice deep inhale in, exhale through the mouth. Start to move the fingers and toes, doing some wrist and ankle circles. Reaching out through arms and legs, and maybe taking your feet to your support system, drawing the knees into the chest and picking a side of the body. And then take the hand in front of your face and come on up to a nice, comfortable seated position. So this class was designed around an auntie of mine who was having a little bit of trouble with her hip, and I wanted to keep it low to the ground, so hopefully it's helpful for you, and thanks for playing. Namaste. Have a good day. Oh, the light went out. All right, thanks, bye.